It's time now for the game preview presented by Ticketmaster here with head coach Kevin Stefanski. Kevin, you guys have had a long week off. How have you guys taken advantage of that time from Thursday night football into Monday night football?
Well, I think the guys have done a nice job of getting a little bit of a rest and really, from a regen standpoint, getting their bodies back right for this back half of the season when it starts to get cold and you get physical football. You want to make sure that the guys are rested. And then by the same token, they're doing a great job of maintaining strength, because I think that's another big piece of towards the end of the season. The sessions in the weight room are just as important as they were back in August.
You guys are heading to Mile High. I know when you guys go to Denver, there's always that word we talk about, altitude. Mm-hmm. I don't know how much it actually does play into it, but I know there's preparations you guys can take, the altitude room for one. So what does that week of preparation look like, preparing for conditions that might not be the same as here?
To us, it's another element, whether it's playing in the snow or the rain or the wind, in this case, the elevation. So we really control what we can control. And for the guys that's using our altitude room that we have here, it's also hydration is a really big piece of this as well. So, and you don't wait till Monday to worry about your hydration. It's something that you're working on really throughout the week.
How do you anticipate Sean Payton having his team prepared and ready for you guys?
Oh, they'll be ready. They do a great job, Coach Payton and all of his coordinators. Their schemes are really, really sound, and they're difficult to go up against. So this is a good football team. They've had some big wins. They play well at home, so it's a great challenge for us.
Let's take a look at their offense. Bo Nix, he's been the Rookie of the Month last month, AFC Offensive Player of the Week this season. What has he shown you on tape?
Very impressed with Bo Nix. He's, as you would imagine with his college career, he's very experienced. He's savvy. There's not much that you see that he doesn't play like a rookie, if you will, because of his experience. He's also extremely athletic, and that's something that our guys are aware of. He has a ton of scrambles already. They can use him in the design run game as well, but he is a challenge when he plays outside the pocket.
In their passing game, Courtland Sutton's a name that everyone's talking about right now. How do you prepare your secondary for a guy like that can make explosive plays for them?
He's so big and physical. 50-50 ball, that they feel really confident throwing those up to him. So there will be a moment where our corners have him, and we got to do our best to come down with the ball.
All right, and then in the run game, Javonte Williams is a guy who's been able to get things going on the ground, but also that dual threat in the passing game too. What kind of a challenge does that pose your defense?
Well, they use their running backs quite a bit in the pass game. That's always something that Coach Payton has done. So have to be aware of those guys releasing from that backfield and covering them. So he's a challenge any way they get him the ball in his hands, whether they turn around and hand it to him or they run him out in these routes. Has a savviness to how he runs his routes. So he's a guy that we definitely have to know where he is at all times.
Their O-line has been protecting Bo really well. How does your defensive line and your defense as a whole go into that, looking to put the pressure on Bo?
I think that's what it is, putting pressure on him. They don't give up a lot of sacks. They get the ball out of the quarterback's hands oftentimes quick, except when he's scrambling. So it's really the challenge of doing our job, applying pressure, and then being ready to play throughout the down when he does scramble.
They're not giving up a lot of sacks, but on the other side of the ball, defensively, they're getting to the quarterback. How much is a point of emphasis for your offensive line, knowing that they're able to finish those plays and knowing that they have to protect Jameis because they can do that?
Well, they're leading the league in sacks. I think they have 14 players with at least a half a sack, so they're getting production from a bunch of different guys. So it's really our entire offense has to have a plan when it comes to protection, and that's obviously the offensive line doing their job, but it's our quarterbacks getting through their progressions, our receivers running with precision in their pass game. So it really takes everybody, but it's not just one guy, although they have some really good players. It's really just the entirety of their front is outstanding.
And then their secondary, a guy that stands out, Pat Surtain. Passes defended, interceptions. How much is good reads and accuracy going to play a part in this? And what is that message to Jameis, knowing that he is there to do that?
He's a really good player, and he's big, he's long, he's fast, he's quick, so he can play up in the receiver's face. He can also play off. He's got great ball skills, so we're certainly aware of him. We went against him last year, so we kind of know what his profile is, but we need to be really smart when you're going up against number 2.
Is that turnover battle, they're plus 12 in the turnover margin. Is that a point of emphasis this week?
Every week, especially this week, they've done a really nice job of taking care of the ball on their offense, and they've taken away on defense. It's when you go on the road and you play these games, that's really the number one stat you're looking at.
All right, special teams, they've got a guy, Marvin Mims, who's been strong in their return. What is your coverage unit anticipating with a guy like that?
He is so fast, and he's a long strider. They use him on offense as well. They do an outstanding job scheming up the return game, whether it's kick return or punt return, but he has legit speed, and we have to be aware of him.
Now, Bubba Ventrone said this week that the ball carries a little further in Denver air. I don't know how much that plays into it, but can you physically prepare Dustin Hopkins for those conditions, or is it just you want him to follow his process as is?
Well, he's played in this stadium before, so I think he has a good plan there. The ball does carry more, whether you're hitting a golf ball or hitting a kick or a punt. In Dustin's case, the field goals. So he'll be aware of it, and we'll factor it in when he's out there.
I know you guys are focusing on football, but this is the first week of My Cause, My Cleats, and you guys are going to have a lot of different charities and foundations represented. How impactful and meaningful is it to be able to represent things that are so near and dear to your guys' hearts?
I think it's incredible. I think it's a great visual when you turn on the game and you see those uniforms, but then you see everybody wearing different colors, and I think it just brings attention to some incredible causes that are out there, and I think it's a great thing that the NFL does.
I'll keep our eyes peeled for all those foundations. Good luck on Monday. Thanks so much, Coach.
Thanks, Cam.